want a particular number of rounds to land at the same time to create a devastating effect. That is called multiple round simultaneous effect. This gun has the capability to fire 3 rounds in less than 15 seconds. That means less than 5 seconds each round will go. They'll fire in 3 different trajectories, low and high, so as to ensure that all the 3 rounds land at the same time to create the effect which you are looking at. Secondly, other important thing about this gun, some very, very important things is that it has got the most important thing of azimuth positioning system. It is called the map system, which is the latest positioning, pointing and azimuth system. It got the latest fire control system. Its complete drives are electrical, as also its fire control system is very, very accurate. As sir has brought out, this is one of the front running system in 155-52 caliber around the world. Its predecessor being Thunder. And also this gun is a future looking gun, which we have now been able. Now just imagine, out of 100 guns, who is going to make the 50 and 40? 10 have come already. It is a big boost to make in India, because we are going to get the capability to produce a frontline gun. Only 10 guns came in this semi-knockdown condition, SKD condition, which was assembled and the gun fired on 9th November in Devlari ranges. But the 50 and the 40 are going to come in this. More importantly, then we are only talking about the version K9. Let's talk about the bigger, slightly bigger picture.
General Saxena, let me jump in here. We'll come to the bigger picture as well. But let me first bring in Ajay here, because staying with the Vajra part, last year in November, when these guns were inducted, all of us know that it was after almost 3 decades that the Indian Army had finally got some new artillery guns in the form of K9 Vajra as well as M777 howitzers. So, if you look at specifically, this timing is really, really crucial, because this was very, very much needed as far as Indian Army's artillery wing is concerned.
Vishal, to put it honestly, it should have happened a decade ago. Put it in real terms, in today's term, it is a very important development, because I'll go by the take what Major General Chakravarti is saying. Please understand, other than the areas which are in Punjab, south of the Satluj, this gun can operate everywhere. It probably cannot operate north of the Satluj because it is very riverine and will take some time to adapt to those conditions because of its tracked conditions. It's not a wheeled gun. Other than the south of Satluj, all areas these can be used by this gun. So 100 would be a small number. Probably we need much more. We have 3 strike corps facing the west. Out of the 3 strike corps, as I said, north of the Satluj, leave it out. The rest of the country, down from I would say Fazilka down below, Firozpur down below till Gujarat, you would have to have more number of guns, especially to when the tanks will move in, as Chakravarti sir pointed out, the armor. I'm breaking it down in simpler terms. When a tank column moves in, it moves into deserts, into swamps, into marshes, it moves on, not on roads, but everywhere else. Now you need a gun which also moves with it. A normal artillery gun, Vishal, is wheeled. It goes into those areas. So it remains a few kilometers behind, which is not an ideal situation. Now, to put it in simpler terms, this gun will actually go with the tanks, 1. 2, the crew of the gun is also protected. Like a normal tank, it is sitting inside a tank type vehicle. The normal artillery gun does not provide the crew with such protection. So this provides that kind of protection. So this is like a tank mechanized and this kind of a gun, tracked gun moving with those tank columns into offensive when we go into the western sector, Vishal. That is the crucial part of it.
Okay, and one more thing, the indigenization aspect, which General Saxena also brought out, the first time some Indian company, an Indian private company will be associated in bringing out a self-propelled artillery gun. So that itself is also a significant aspect when we talk about the involvement of the private sector in the defense manufacturing.
Vishal, L&T, the company which is being named here, has done some tremendous work. Not just in this gun, they put it in right perspective. They have made the hull of the nuclear submarine Arihant. It is in public domain, that's why I'm naming it. Whereas the indigenization part is concerned, I will still not think that we hold the technology for this, Vajra K9. We hold the technology critical guns called the Dhanush, which is being made in the OFB, which is a copy of the Bofors, an improved version of the Bofors rather, and the ATAGS. The ATAGS is the Advanced Towed Artillery Gun System. The gun has been designed by DRDO, Vishal, and it is being made by 2 Indian private companies, Tata and Bharat Forge. The guns, 40 of those have been ordered by the Indian Army. That is where I'm looking at when you talk of indigenization. That is a more focused area, according to me, because those are the numbers which we need. The Dhanush is in huge numbers, the ATAGs will be in huge numbers. Those are the things which will bring in Indianization, and we will hold the technology for those, Vishal.
And the one which you're indicating will be the larger picture, which General Saxena was talking about. General Saxena, coming back to the larger picture point, which you were earlier raising, you know, if you look at the way artillery is to be used in the conventional warfare system and mechanized, aspect of it, which was brought out by General Chakraborty earlier. How do you see, the entire scenario developing from here onwards now that we're talking about Indian Army having almost 100 Vajra?
Of guns and howitzers will be required an ultimate analysis. And it is not only just K9 Vajra or M177 or ATAG. We have to say that we require towed guns of 155 millimeter. We required SP guns and howitzers. We require towed howitzers, all the three varieties. Not only that, we should not stop here. We require multi-barrel rocket launchers, Smerch and Pinaka. We require battle locating, target locating radars. We require the UAVs. We require battle management command and control system. Unfortunately, much like the Army Air Defense, the artillery modernization program has also been a very slow-moving and a snail's-moving program. As Sir brought out, Chakraborty Sir brought out, that the last gun, actually the last gun which was inducted was 1987 to 1991, 414 Bofors guns were inducted, and after that there have been a 3-4 times the modernization program started, but it just fizzled out. But today, artillery is in a great flux. Now, Ajay talked about the advanced towed artillery gun system. I want to talk about AGS, which is our 150 millimeter towed gun. I will say it is the flag bearer or banner holder. Do you know that this program is one of the largest public partner PPP model? Largest. Why it is the largest? Many companies have come together. Do you know that the gun barrel has been made by, first of all, the gun is designed by DRDO, but then who are making it? The DRDO and OFB have come together to make the barrel portion of the gun. Then you have Mahindra Defense, which is making the recoil system. Then you have Tata Advanced System, Tata Power SCD and Punj Lloyd, which are doing the other parts of the gun, that is the muzzle brakes and so on. Now this gun, actually, the gun we require is about 2,000 numbers are required to this gun, and the orders will be forthcoming slowly and steadily. Now come to just leave this 155. We are also talking about 155 millimeter Nexter gun and Albit gun together, which is at the CNC stage. I am talking of my indigenous capability as Make in India. The ATAGS is our flag bearer. Okay, DRDO has done many pools of stagnation, but somewhere there has been success. ATAG is success. Now talk about 155 millimeter gun howitzer, which is not Vajra, which is Dhanush. You know Dhanush. Something which we started with Bofors, all right, we started with the Bofors gun, but we modified the range from 39 to 42 kilometers. We have version 2 of Dhanusha. If you visited the 2018 DEF Expo, you would have seen a mounted gun system of Dhanush in which the gun has been mounted on 8x8 Tata chassis of BEML. Today we have that variety of our own. And then coming to the towed 155 millimeter gun, the towed 155 millimeter gun, Dhanush bill as much as M177. Okay, Ajay was talking about south of Satluj, but what about north of Satluj? What about the mountainous area? We are now going to get 145 M177 ultralight helicopter, ultralight howitzers, in which who's the major player? Okay, BAE system has made it fine. It is Mahindra Defense, which is going to make the rest of the gun.
So there is a collaboration between the private sector and the defense PSUs and the foreign companies as well, and we are making strides as well. Let me bring in General Chakraborty here on the larger picture, as General Saxena brought out in the kind of guns we are looking forward to in future as well, and the kind of guns we're working on. But General Chakraborty, coming back to the K9 Vajra, how do you think K9 Vajra adds to this larger picture?
Well, firstly, let me put it, I was very lucky to be there in Devlali. I was invited at a retired stage to be invited for a firing. And I was with the Raksha Mantri and she asked me how did I feel. For me, it's like a dream come true. I'm trying to be very simplistic because I would like to put it, firstly, I will answer your question and then answer a little more. Well, K9 Vajra fits. When you have to have mechanized warfare, remember a tank's consumption of ammunition, even in an intense battle, is 10 to 15 rounds per day. Normally, it's 6 to 8 rounds per day. Artillery, which is accompanying them, will be firing anything to up to 2-second lines, which could go from 100 to 150 rounds. So the bulk of the firing which is to be done by the artillery.
Artillery guns.
In the US, they always call that they are the drum. You know, when you are marching, General Saxena has marched, I'm sure Ajay also must have done some marching, and we all march somewhere. And you always, you know, even Subhash Chandra Bose has that kadam kadam badhaye ja. So you have a drum, artillery drum. So if the K9 is there, the armored division, as he called it, the mechanized forces, the drum is moving with you. All others have to be deployed on ground, as he said, as both of them said, and then they give you by their range. Deploy or leapfrog, whatever you keep naming it. So K9 occupies an important role. Next, see, as I think both of them have described, India has a variety of terrain, and artillery fire has to reach every place. You will be surprised, there are still areas in India where the artillery does not reach because of lack of roads and lack of communications. Ajay is very clear about that areas, particularly in the extreme northeast, if I may put it, which is known as the rest of Arunachal Pradesh. But today with these guns coming in, a variety have come in. And why has this variety come in? Since we were all in the decision-making process, at least I had just come from J&K. And when I found it, when I had to capture a militant, I always had to have at least 5 or 6 plans moving together. It was so difficult. So when nothing was moving, as they both said, I said, let's apply 6 plans together. What are those? 1, private sector. Second, we must get the foreigners. Third, we must get the DRDO, because we should get them, because they themselves said, I remember the DG DRDO said that we have got nothing from the artillery. They were busy making the Arjun at that time. We must get the DRDO. We must get the OFB and also make them all combine, and we must also get BrahMos going. BrahMos was a naval this thing. So I said, let's attack all fronts. And everybody said that, even, I remember in with the Ministry of Defense, because I was intimately involved, they all said, General, your workload has increased 6 times. I said, 1 out of these 6, as luck would have it, today all 6 have succeeded. And it has succeeded, it has taken, as they have correctly said, it is not something which has happened yesterday. Out of this, the most difficult was the K9. Why? Because we wanted one thing very clearly, as they said, a Make in India come in. Make in India comes in when the ammunition that is being fired is an Indian ammunition. The South Korean Samsung Techwin said, no way are we